Hey everyone, it's Jeremy from myconsultanttraining.com, and today I'm going to talk about the number one thing that we get asked about all the time, which is how do I build my own website like yours? So a lot of Becky's success in her business can be attributed to her ability to make connections and build her business online. And she's done that with the website she's created, beckysbookcorner.com, or through this training website. So the great thing about having your own website is it gives a place for your customers and people who may be interested in joining the business, a place to go to learn more about you and more about your company. And it has your personality and has generally more information than what your home office provided website's going to have. And the best thing about having your own website is that it can be working for you even when you're not working. So your website's always up, people can go visit it, and you start to make connections with people without having to actually have one-on-one conversations with them. It helps build long-term relationships and retain customers, and then also down the road will help you add new team members. So there's 5 basic steps to go through to launch your website. So we'll go through registering a domain name, signing up for a web hosting service, adding your domain name to your web hosting account, installing your WordPress site, then designing and updating your site. And before we get started, I do want to let you know that Becky and I are affiliates for some of the products and services that we'll be talking about here today. And what that means is if you do end up deciding to purchase through one of our links, that we will earn a small commission from that, and that's at no additional expense to you. And just know that we only promote products that we find helpful in our own business. So everything that we recommend and promote is something we either are currently using or something we have used in the past. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with registering a domain name. So your domain name is essentially the address or the home of your website. Like the training website here, we have myconsultanttraining.com is the domain name for our site. There's a bunch of domain registrars out there, which is where you will go to purchase your domain. 2 of them we've used in the past are GoDaddy.com and Domain.com. So if you don't already have a domain name purchased, you could go through one of them, or you can purchase a domain through your web hosting company, which will be one of the later steps. And my personal preference is to keep the domain names hosted with the same place we do web hosting, just to have everything in one spot is simpler for me. And we use SiteGround for our web hosting. But there are, you can save a few bucks if you, do go with a registrar like GoDaddy or something like that. I think they usually run, somewhere between $7 and $10 at GoDaddy.com. That's per year. And at SiteGround, I think they're $15. So you will save a few bucks if you go, through an outside registrar, but you can do it essentially however you want. So we'll go through setting it up with GoDaddy.com. So if you go to myconsultanttraining.com/GoDaddy, that'll take you to the site there. So what you'll do is click on domains and then do domain name search. So in the bar down here, type the domain name that you would like to use for your website. So I'm going to type in myconsultanttraining.com. That'll already be taken, but it'll show me other extensions that are available. So I'm going to go ahead and pick myconsultanttraining.club here, since that one's only 99 cents. So once you find the one you want, click add to cart. You can continue to cart. So then they'll have some upsells that they'll try to get you on here. The only one that you may want to consider is this privacy protection. So all of your contact information associated with the domain is stored in what's called this Whois database. So if you do not choose to have privacy protection, your contact info will be shown there. So it would be, your address, phone number, If you do choose privacy protection, then there will be a third-party company's contact information that will be shown there instead. So it's not that much, $7.99 per year per domain, so it doesn't cost a ton. But we personally don't use privacy protection, so we would choose no thanks here. And then creating an email address that matches your domain, you don't have to do that either, because once you have your web hosting set up, you'll be able to create email addresses through your web host. So pick what you want there for privacy. No thanks on the email address. Continue. So then you'll fill out the form here this is all the information associated with the domain. So like I was talking about before, if you didn't choose domain privacy, this is the information that would show up when somebody goes and searches for your domain name in the Whois database. So put all your info here. And then we already have a GoDaddy account, so I'm going to put my login information here and click login. If you don't have an account yet, then you'll just click submit and you'll end up creating an account later. So on the checkout page, enter all your information here. Make sure the length of your registration is how you want it. You can see it defaulted to 5 years for me. I'm just going to pick 1, pay for the first year now. If you set privacy on earlier when you registered the domain, this should be set to on. It'll be off if you did not turn that on. And then once you're all set here, click complete purchase. So now when you go to my account and click my products, you should see your new domain that you purchased there. And that's it. So now you've registered your domain. We can go on to step 2. The second step is going to be to sign up for a web hosting service. So a web hosting service is a place that stores all your website files and serves them to users that visit your website. There's a ton of them out there. The one that we use and recommend is SiteGround. We've used a few different ones in the past. SiteGround has been the best by far, mainly for the customer support. I'm able to get in touch with someone on web chat, in usually less than 2 minutes, and I'm able to get my issues resolved with the first person I talk to. So customer support's been a huge deal for us. So and that's the reason we left our previous web host. So we use and recommend SiteGround. So I'll walk you through setting up your web hosting service with SiteGround here. So if you go to myconsultanttraining.com/SiteGround, you'll see their homepage here. So if you go to web hosting, you'll see they offer a couple different plans here. So if you're just starting out and you only have the one website you're going to make right now, I would start with the startup plan. It's only $4 a month getting started, and it'll have everything you need just getting started. If you end up adding more websites later or need some of the additional features, you can always upgrade to one of the other plans later. But for now, I would just start with that. So you can click the Get Started button here, and then it'll ask you if you want to register a new domain. So if in the first step you registered a domain with GoDaddy, then you would enter your domain here. If you decided not to register with GoDaddy and wanted to register it with SiteGround to keep it all in the same spot, you would put in the domain name that you want here. So if you're going to register a new domain, put it in there. If you already registered it with GoDaddy or somebody else, click I already have a domain, type it in here. So I'm going to put in myconsultanttraining.club, which we just registered. So then you will fill out all of the information, the account information, billing information, all that stuff on here. So then they have this extra service down here, this SG site scanner. I really don't think you need this one, so you can uncheck this here. So once you've filled out all that, at the bottom you'll click Pay Now. And since we already have an account, I'm not going to go through that process here. But after you click Pay Now, your account will be created, and then we can go on to the next step. So the third step is adding your domain to your web hosting account. So this step only needs to be done if your domain is registered at a different place than your web host. So if your domain is registered at GoDaddy and your web hosting is at SiteGround, then you will need to go through this step. If you decided to register your domain with SiteGround, then you don't need to go through this step because it'll already be set up for you. So we'll keep going here, showing the example of the domain being at GoDaddy and our web hosting being with SiteGround. So you want to go to SiteGround and log into your account. So when you're in here, click on My Accounts and then click Go to cPanel. So in the domains area here, you're going to click Add-on Domains. So in this Create an Add-on Domain area, in the new domain name, you're going to type in your domain name that you registered. So I'm going to put myconsultanttraining.club. And then once you click off of there, it'll auto-populate this subdomain and document root. I would leave those as they are. In my case, I already have My Consultant Training as a subdomain in my account, so I'm going to change this. But in your case, I would leave it the way it is. And then you can either make up a password or you can use the password generator here and it'll create one for you. Make sure you copy that so you can use it to log in later. And then once you've populated all this, you'll hit Add Domain. So you'll be all set there. So now if you go back to cPanel Home and go to your add-on domains, so you should see, yeah, your new domain should show up here now. So you'll know you've done that step correctly if it shows up in your add-on domain list. So the next step is going to be to update the name servers at GoDaddy. So the name servers essentially just point your domain name to the company that hosts your website. So the first thing you have to do is look up your name servers in your SiteGround account. So if you go back to My Accounts and click on the Information and Settings tab, you'll see right here under Account DNS, those are the name servers there. So we have to put this information into your GoDaddy account. So if you go back to GoDaddy and log into your account, then click on My Products. You have your domains here. So under your domain name, click DNS. And then down here you'll have name servers. So if you click Change here, then click Custom. So in these two boxes here, you're gonna put in the SiteGround name servers. So in my case, I've got these two, so I'm gonna put them in here. And once you're done, click Save. So that's it for this step, so we can move on to step 4. Alright, so now we're on to step 4, which is installing your WordPress site. So I'll walk you through how to do this with SiteGround, which is super easy now. They essentially have one-click installation, so you don't have to mess around with it too much. So if you log into your SiteGround account, go into My Accounts, and go back to cPanel. So then in the auto installers area, click on WordPress. And then from here, we're gonna click Install Now. So in here, for Choose Protocol, we'll click HTTP. In Choose Domain, pick the domain that you set up earlier. So in my case, it is myconsultanttraining.club. In directory, we'll leave blank, so this will install it to, this will end up installing it to the same directory that we set up earlier, since we used the default settings there. So for site name, just call it the name of your website. You can change this stuff later too, so you don't have to worry about it too much right now. Site description, you just enter a short description. So in the admin account area, you can either use the default username and password that they've created for you here, or you can make up your own username and password. And for the admin email, if you have an email address that you want to use and you've already set up, you can type that in here. Otherwise, you can just leave it as the default, and you can set up the email address later so it matches. Choose your language, and then leave this rest of this stuff as it is. So once you're all done here, click install. So then this will take a little bit of time here to go through the installation steps. So once it's done, you should see this: congratulations, the software was installed successfully. So that's it for step 4. So at this point, you will officially have a website. Woohoo! So let's go check out what gets installed for you as the default website. So we'll open up a new tab here, and we'll go to our myconsultanttraining.club. And you'll see here, this is the default WordPress website that it installs for you. So it's got this lovely plant picture here, and then some other kind of just generic stuff that they pre-populate for you. So what we will do, actually first, so if you type in your domain name and it doesn't pop up, sometimes it can take the name server step that we did earlier. Sometimes that can take up to an hour or two or something to propagate through the system before it officially works. So if it doesn't pop up right away, give it a little bit of time. If it still isn't working after an hour or two, then you may want to reach out to your web hosting company and see what's going on there. So now what we'll do is log into your website through the dashboard. So all you do here is add the /wp-admin to the end of your domain name there, and you'll get this login screen. So in here, you'll want to type the username and the password that you set up when you did the WordPress installation with your hosting company. So type in the username, password, click login. So now this screen here is called the dashboard. So this is the main area where you'll be doing all your setup and everything on the website. So I'm not going to go through a ton of stuff here, because website design would be a whole class in itself, but I'll show you a little bit of the basics, and then I'll show you where you can get some good resources from WordPress and their support area for updating and managing your website. The main thing here, so this is your home page for the dashboard. It'll show you recent activity, things like that. So if you go to your pages, this is where all your website pages will show up here. So as you can see, there are none right now. So if we wanted to create a new page, you would just hit add new, give it a title here. We'll just call this home for the home page. And then this editor here is where you will put in all your text, pictures, whatever you want in here. So we'll just type some text in there. When you're done, you can either save it as a draft if you're not ready to go live with it. Once you're ready to go live with it, you would hit publish. So now if we go back to our pages here, you'll see we have this one home page that we created. So that's, you can have any number of pages there. And the next thing I will show you is under appearance. I'm sorry. So the next thing I'm going to show you is under settings. We have all kinds of stuff here. So on the general, this is all your generic kind of website information, your site title, description, what the address is, the admin email address. So this is where notifications will get sent as things are happening in your website. And then time zone, date format, all that kind of stuff. And then under reading, so this is where you can set what's going to display on your homepage. So when people go, in our case, to myconsultanttraining.club, the settings here will be choosing which page is displayed. So right now this is set up as like a blog, so it's saying on the home page it's going to show the latest posts. So we're going to change it to a static page, and we're going to make it be the home page that we just created a minute ago. So I'll hit save changes there. So now if we go back to the home page, we should see that it's updated to that page we created. So I'm going to go up here, hover over visit site, and open that in a new window. So you'll see, there's still the main headers up there, but as I scroll down, you'll see, this is the new page I created here. So that's what's showing on the home page now. The plugins, so plugins are kind of add-ons that you can install on your website, and if you need to do a specific function. There's a few here that are added by default. If you want to go search through the library of plugins, you'd hit add new, and then there's a whole bunch here. You can browse through popular, recommended. If you're searching for something in particular, you can type that in here and search. So there's, I don't know, I'm sure thousands and thousands and thousands of different plugins that you can search through and install to do any sort of specific functions on your website. The other part I'll show you real quick is under posts. So if you're going to have a blog on your website, all your blog posts would show up under posts. So you can see that they've created one for you when they installed the website. So it's really similar to a page. If you want to make a new post, just hit add new. The editor would show up, and you can add pictures, text, and things that way. And then, so I'll show you, if you go up here to help, and then let's just go to this documentation here. So this is the main support area for WordPress. So if you go to, let me go to the home page up here. So you can see they have a ton of information here about, learning how to use WordPress. And, they've got all the way from, beginner lessons, how to get started, learning the jargon, all that kind of stuff. So there's a ton of resources here, and, WordPress powers, I think it's something like 25 or 30% of all websites that are out there. So, if you just go into Google and search for something you're trying to do or look for, you're very likely to find an answer out there, because there's a lot of support and forums and websites and stuff that'll give you a ton of help. So as you saw earlier when we were looking at the page there and editing the page, making the new page, let me go back in here. So the built-in editor with WordPress is, it's kind of stock, doesn't have a lot of features. You can add images and text and all that kind of stuff. But there's not a ton you can do with it. So that's why we use Divi with ours. It's got a whole page builder and a bunch of different modules, so you can update the look and feel, very easily. So let's show you how Divi works. So we're going to go to myconsultanttraining.com/elegant. So this will take you over to Elegant Themes. So what you'll want to do here is join. So they have, two options. You can do yearly access for $89 per year, or you can get lifetime access for a one-time fee of $249. So pick the one you want, sign up. Once you're done signing up, you go to the login area. So they have, a few different themes and plugins and all that stuff. So we'll go ahead and download the Divi theme. So you'll get a zip file here. We'll go back to the main dashboard and then go under Appearance, Themes. So we're going to click up here and click Add New, and then we're going to Upload Theme. So we'll use the file chooser and go to the Divi theme that we downloaded. So we got that there, and then click Install Now. So once it's done, you'll get this notification that the theme installed successfully. So we're going to go ahead and activate it. So now you'll see in the list of themes here, we have the Divi theme activated. The default theme that's enabled when you install the WordPress is this 2017 theme. They also give you these other two, 2016, 2015. There's just like plugins, there's a ton of free themes that are out there too if you want to explore those. Just click Add New. You can search through them like I was showing you with the plugins. So now that we have the Divi theme installed, so let's go back and go to our pages, and we'll go edit the home page. So now with the Divi theme installed, you'll see that you have this button now to use the Divi Builder. So let's click that. So now you get this Divi Builder interface here. So you can see it took what we had before and put it into a text module. So the way Divi kind of works, it's divided into rows and columns like a grid, and then you can add these modules, which is like this gray bar here, and they can do specific functions, photos, videos, text, code, countdown timers, all kinds of different stuff. So this green one here is the row. So if I click this button here, change structure, you can see these are the different layouts you can get for the row. So just a single row divided into two columns. So for now, let's just split it into two columns. So I've got the text on one side. So if you click over here and click Insert Module, you'll see there's all these different kinds of modules that you can add in to do all kinds of different stuff on your website. So I'll just put an image here on this side. So this is the module editor here. So if you're gonna so here you're gonna put the image URL. If you click the Upload Image button, so you have the image chooser here. So if you find an image that you want to put on your website, you can just kind of drag it in. So let me just grab one here. So then this will show, any images that you've uploaded into your account, they'll all show up here. So I'm going to pick this one here. And then once you're done, hit save and exit. So now to update the home page, you just hit the update button. So now we can go back to our home page here, and we can see what this looks like. So now you can see it's got the two columns here. I've got the text on the one side, the picture on the other, and so you can see it's just it's simple to use. It's a simple grid type layout, and you've got all kinds of flexibility. So that was using the page builder there. So they also have what's called the visual builder, where you can actually just see what your changes are going to be in real time. So when I'm looking at the page here, if I hit the enable visual builder, so you can see you've got the section, the row, the different modules here, and then you can edit this stuff in real time. If I wanted to add more text here, I can just, type away there. If I needed to add another row, just, highlight over the row, hit add row. I can pick a new one here. Let's just put, I'm just gonna put another text module in here. So now I've got this new row here, and then you can just drag and drop these things around. If I wanted to move this one up above, and just drag it up there. So now I've got that row on the bottom. So when you're done with your updates in the visual builder, just click the purple button down there and click save. And then your page will be updated and saved. So this is a super convenient and easy way to do web design without having to write a bunch of code or try to use that stock WordPress editor and make that look pretty. You divide it up into rows and columns, insert whatever modules you need, and it's pretty easy, drag and drop. So this has been a huge time saver for us. And before I was working on Becky's website, I didn't really have any web design experience. I just kind of went through all the tutorials and figured it out, but I've gotten the hang of it over the years, creating and updating all of Becky's websites. So it's not too bad once you get the hang of it. So Elegant Themes has a bunch of documentation and tutorials and all that stuff too, explaining how all the modules work, how to set it up, how to use it. So if I'll show you where that is. So if you're back on the Elegant Themes website, just go to /documentation. And then they've got their products here. So if you click on Divi, they've got everything, learning about the modules, basics, how to use the builder, all that kind of stuff. So there's a ton of information here to help you get familiar with it and help you use it. So hopefully that gives you enough information to get you going on your website design. And depending on when you're watching this, if you think this is too much for you to handle, we are planning to offer a template website in the near future that is based off our beckysbookcorner.com website, and we'll have a companion e-course that'll go with that. That'll give you step-by-step instructions on how to update that template website to put all your information in there and make it your own. So if that's something you're interested in, depending on when you're watching this, there will either be a registration form at the bottom, where you can sign up to get notified when that becomes available, or if it's already available, you'll find a link at the bottom to get to it. So if you don't want to start from scratch and you would like a template to start from to get you able to launch sooner, check that out. It might be a good option for you. So that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, let us know in the comments or reach out to us through the contact page.